Next we have Hank Saroyan, who will deliver a speech about his uncle, A Man for All Reasons, and then the screening of the film The Parsley Garden. Hank Saroyan.
Thank you. Gee, I was hoping I'd be after that.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen something that I hadn't seen a million times before by my uncle. I had called this thing A Man for All Reasons. It's interesting to see what happens. Did you notice we didn't care there was no set? Forgot about it immediately. And the thing that my uncle always said about his writing is that he always wrote the truth. If you write the truth, it lasts forever. It's timeless. That could have been last week in Bakersfield. It reminded me of a couple of things about my uncle. I was going to talk about why we're here so long after a man's death, and so long after a writer's death, when for the last 20, 25 years of his career, no one was really caring what he was writing, and he kept writing, because he wrote to stay alive. As to why we're all here, in 1993, shortly after I did The Parsley Garden, I'm going to put these down because as usual I'm not using them. Shortly after I did The Parsley Garden, which was my first film for which I won the Outstanding Directing Emmy, I had to go visit someone in Las Vegas. And I drove down there, and at the time I had a hot car. I had a Porsche Turbo, whatever. And I drove it there, and on the way there I could feel my brakes squealing a little bit. And I thought, oh great, if I drive this all the way back to LA and wait till then to fix the brake pads, I'm going to score the discs. It's going to cost me $3,000. I better get it fixed here. So it's Sunday afternoon in Las Vegas, and I'm driving around on the other side of the freeway from the casinos, and I found a little brake shop that was open. And so I pulled in. I was kind of nervous, because when you own a Porsche, you're always nervous. I'm going to come back in the car, it'll be an ashtray. And there were 3 Mexican guys working there, and I pulled in. There was no sign of anybody in management or anything, and I said, can you guys fix this car? And they said, sure, we fix them all the time. I didn't really believe that, so I left the car, and they said, come back at the end of the day. I came back at the end of the day. They were gone. The car was finished. It was sitting out front, and there was an older man there, about 73 years old. And he said, is that your car? And I said, yeah. He said, it's $393. And I said, okay, that's not a bad price. So I got out my credit card. I put the credit card in his hand. He put it in the old machines, you know, where you used to have to run the thing and check it, and then make an impression. He held up the thing and he said, Saroyan, any relation? Now keep in mind, this is not an Armenian man, this is just a man. Matter of fact, it turns out he was Scandinavian. He said, any relation? And I said, yeah, that's my Uncle Bill. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. And he took the receipt and he tore it up and he said, no charge. And I said, what? Are you Armenian? He said, not in the slightest. And I said, then what's the deal? What's no charge? He says, come with me. And this play just proved it to me. He took me in the back room. He turned me around. He said, you see that picture? And on the wall there's a picture of he and a woman I suppose was his wife. 4 adults that may have been his children, and about 14 little kids. His grandchildren. And I said, yeah. He said, that's my family. And I said, wow, nice family. And I'm still thinking, hey, it's $393. I better like it family. He says, when I was 21 years old, it was the Depression. I was standing on a chair with a rope around my neck, tied to a rafter in my room. And I was going to end it. And I looked down in a wastebasket, and someone had thrown away a story magazine. And on the front it said, you better grab that. And on the front it said, new story by Bill Saroyan. Actually it said William Saroyan. He said, so I thought to myself, dying men have last wishes. I'm going to read a story by Bill Saroyan before I die. He said, so I took the noose off my neck. I got down off the chair. I read the story. I did not kill myself. And 2 days later, I met that woman and began my life thanks to your uncle. So like I said, no charge. And I grabbed him.